That's right, I decided to actually finish Pokemon Maximum Venom for today. In last week's Pokemon as Werewolves episode, I mentioned that I started this episode and was a little bit unsure about it, but this week I drew some new artwork for it and rewrote it a little bit, and I think it is good to go. Plus, a couple weeks ago, we got the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer, and probably not coincidentally, my old Godzilla Maximum Venom episode has been jumping up in views lately, so clearly people are looking for some Venom and Carnage content, and I'm happy to oblige. So let's see what happens when Marvel symbiotes invade the Pokemon universe, shall we? Let's go. Hit like, if you want. Subscribe, if you feel like. But either way, enjoy the show. Perelliun's Paranormal Log, Day 207. My name is Professor Perelliun, and today I am logging one of the many bizarre sightings of Pokemon infected with mysterious symbiotic creatures that have been ravaging regions from Kanto to Galar. There seem to be various forms of these creatures with slightly varying aesthetics and abilities, but they all seem to share common traits and ancestries. We are still trying to determine where these creatures came from and how much risk of harm there is to the regions they're beginning to infest. The first logged case came from a trainer named Larry Spokes, a young man from Kanto out training his recently evolved Blastoise in the Johto region. He believed he spotted a wild Sneasel in the bushes up ahead of him and sent his Blastoise to lure it out. There was indeed some kind of scuffle in the bushes, but what emerged was not a Sneasel. It was the trainer's own Blastoise, thrashing and tearing at a red and black amorphous sentient goop. The trainer thought he'd maybe found a new Pokemon, or an alternate version of Ditto or Muck, but since this event's occurrence, both these theories have been proven false. He tried to command his Blastoise to keep fighting, but once most of his body had been overtaken, it stopped resisting the goop. The Blastoise allowed itself to be fully consumed, and it then struck out against its own trainer. Spokes dodged the attack and tried to have the Pokemon return to its Pokeball. This attempt was unsuccessful. Somehow the goop managed to block the link between the creature and its ball. The trainer then tried to send out his own victory bell to stop the Blastoise from killing him. Being a grass Pokemon with equal training to the Blastoise, it should have been easy for him to take down the goop-covered creature, but the parasite seemed to enhance the Blastoise's strength and protect it from its previous weaknesses. In the end, the trainer wound up having to recall his victory bell after it had been viciously attacked by the Blastoise. He called out his Pidgeot and retreated by flying off on its back, leaving to get help in the nearest town. He gave his report to an officer Jenny, and a party was later sent out to search for the creature. They had no way of stopping the creature once they caught up to the infected Pokemon, but it wasn't hard for them to find. Scattered Pokemon bodies littered its path of destruction. The Blastoise was leaving a trail of carnage in its wake. Many are desperate to hunt down and do away with these creatures before they infect more, but personally I am intrigued to see what happens when they infect other kinds of Pokemon. Perelliun's Log, Day 214. Today's most significant report of the symbiotes came from the Kanto region. A few children came across a battle between a wild Charmander and a Lickitung that had been infected by another of these amorphous parasites. The children filmed the event, giving us a better record of what these creatures can do, and also of what could be a way to deter them. The first thing that was apparent, which has been further proven by other cases, is that these parasites make the Pokemon they embody far more violent. It's unclear if they're fully controlling the Pokemon or just influencing their actions, but either way, the Lickitung in this case was being far more aggressive than they're commonly known to be. The Lickitung, like other infected creatures, had also clearly been physically enhanced. It barely flinched at a headbutt from the Charmander and slashed at the poor creature with large claws and bit at it with razor-like teeth, the likes of which have never been seen on a Lickitung before. It also used its tongue to reach up to tree branches and swing itself around, showing far more maneuverability than a Lickitung would normally have. It also showed off an ability to spawn tendrils from its sides, almost like that of a grass Pokemon's Vine Whip. It then used those tendrils to slash at its foe. The Charmander likely would have met a vicious end if it weren't for its flame attacks. When the Charmander started using Flamethrower against the goopy foe, the parasite started to recoil at the flaming strikes. After the first attack, the Lickitung stayed farther from the Charmander, trying to use its extending tongue and tendrils to strike it from afar. But any time it reached towards the fire Pokemon, Charmander would attack with another burst of flame. Clearly it had learned in the fight what it could do to protect itself. After a few more minutes of battling, the goop was nearly half off the Lickitung. It's likely the Charmander could have fully separated the two if the Lickitung hadn't then retreated from the fight. An unfortunate final outcome, but one that at least provided us with some useful information. This was the first time we got any word of weaknesses these creatures may have, and this may be essential in removing all of them from their hosts, and, more importantly, getting one into my lab to study. Perelliun's log, day 230. Over the last few weeks, things have continued to get much more interesting. Or, as others would put it, things have gotten much worse. There have been many incidents since the Lickitung footage, and today's event presented a significant complication in our efforts to rid ourselves of these parasites. You see, it started like many of the other cases. A trainer by the name of /Muster was wandering the Galar region with his Raichu when he was attacked by a Sceptile that was infected with one of these parasites. We're as of yet unsure whose Sceptile this is, but it's likely it belonged to a trainer, as Sceptile are not commonly found in the Galar region. The trainer was nervous as, at this point, news has spread about the infected Pokemon, but he stood his ground and sent his Raichu out to fight. See, along with fire, lightning has been widely reported to be a weakness of these creatures as well. Early into the fight, it was working quite well. Slash was having his Raichu use a myriad of lightning-based attacks to weaken the infected Sceptile, and he had downed it with the goop, nearly off it entirely. The trainer and his Pokemon were both fixated on the downed creature, and hadn't noticed that another of the amorphous symbiotes, without a host, was sliding across the field towards them. The Raichu was taking a moment to rest before unleashing its finishing blow on the Sceptile when the second symbiote leapt off the ground onto it, and in a matter of seconds, it encompassed the unsuspecting Raichu. Slash ordered his Pokemon to use Thunderbolt to try and repel it, but to his and many other people's great concern, the infected Raichu used a lightning-based attack against its own trainer, and the lightning no longer deterred the symbiote. This has seemingly proven something I'd previously suspected, that these creatures can adapt. It seems if they infect a Pokemon that can use an attack that they previously had been weak to, such as fire or lightning or sound-based moves, they then gain an immunity to those attacks. This possesses a serious problem in itself, but more alarming and interesting still is what happened after the trainer was attacked by his Pokemon. The Raichu leapt over to him, stared him in the eyes, and it spoke. In a gurgled voice it said, "We will no longer be your slaves." Very intriguing, to be sure. Perelliun's log, day 346. The biggest twist in the symbiote infestation yet occurred today. We now have an admittedly unexpected but knowledgeable ally in the fight against the parasites. It's a case of a trainer named Edward Stone, who was out in the Kalos region training his Noivern when they were attacked by a Hawlucha that had been infected. The battle was fairly easy for Edward and his Noivern, as sound-based attacks have proven to be one of the most effective against the parasites. But things had seemed to take a dark turn when the thing vacated its Hawlucha host and latched on to the Noivern when it swooped low to the ground. It infected the creature before the Noivern could retaliate, and as they've shown to do in the past, the creature quickly adapted to the powers of its host. The sound-based attacks could no longer harm the parasite. But Edward called to his Pokemon still, and it answered. It seems this symbiote in particular is not as aggressive as the others, and with it bonded to the Noivern, it was still willing to work alongside Edward, though he has reported that the Noivern is less likely to follow his commands now than it was before being infected. This one has also shown limited speech capabilities like the infected Raichu from a previous case, and it's told Edward that the symbiotes are a species from beyond the stars called the Klyntar. They survive by bonding onto a host, then enhancing them. He's said they'll continue to multiply and eventually take over every Pokemon they can, so they can then take control of our world. This is, of course, dire news to many, but Edward has been working with various organizations and trainers to use this information from his infected Noivern to find other symbiotes and remove them from their hosts. As Edward's Noivern can use sound attacks without harming itself, they together are one of the best deterrents against the invaders. They're now traveling from region to region, helping fight the symbiotes anywhere they can. Now all humanity can do is hope that this team can work faster than the symbiotes can spread. Although if the infection does continue into a grander scale, I personally will be very intrigued to see what happens next. Alrighty then. I wouldn't say this is my best Maximum Venom episode, but I am glad I finished it up. There's a lot of stuff in here that I like. And I'm definitely open to doing more of this if people want. Not just a Pokemon Maximum Venom episode, but more venomized episodes in general. Is this a series people are still interested in? Let me know in the comments. Seen a few suggestions for a Mortal Kombat Maximum Venom episode, and I definitely think that could be really cool. And if you're new to the channel and you like venomized artwork and stories, I've got a whole series of them. Got Godzilla Maximum Venom, Star Wars Maximum Venom, that's the most recent one and probably has the best artwork in my opinion. And of course the My Hero Academia Maximum Venom episodes, I consider one of the most iconic on the channel, and kinda kicked off a lot of the storytelling episodes on this channel. Oh, and of course I've already done Charizard Venomized in my Venomized Dragons episode. But anyway, everybody, besides that, that's all for today. I'm Christian Pearson. This has been PopCross Studios, home of the Nerdy Start videos on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday, which is going to be something kind of new. I mean, it's something as superheroes. Wait, have I put out a poll about this already? I probably have. You can probably figure out what Friday's episode is pretty easily by going to the community tab. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, Friday's video is going to be fun, and hopefully I'll see you all there. Goodbye.